This is exactly how the top 1% manage their money, and it has almost nothing to do with a bigger paycheck.
Let that sit for a second, because right now, somewhere, a doctor pulling in $400,000 a year is one bad year from broke, while a 24-year-old who owns 3 vending machines is quietly becoming a millionaire. Same economy, 2 completely different games.
So if it's not the paycheck, what is it? Stick around, because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to hand you the 4 exact ownership doors wealthy people walk through. And by the end, you'll know which one fits you. Let's get into it.
Here's the truth no personal finance thumbnail wants to admit. Income and wealth are not the same thing. A surgeon and a school teacher are both, financially speaking, employees. They trade hours for dollars. The second they stop showing up, the income stops. Doesn't matter if that number is 60,000 or 600,000. If it vanishes the moment you stop working, you're not building wealth. You're renting a lifestyle. Now flip it. Sarah Blakely spends her 20s selling fax machines door to door. Not a glamorous salary, but instead of chasing a raise, she took a small pile of savings and bought ownership. She built a product, then a company called Spanx. She didn't get rich from a paycheck. She got rich from what she owned.
That's the entire gap, and once you actually see it, you cannot unsee it.
So how do normal people, not celebrities, not trust fund kids, end up owning enough to get wealthy? Turns out there are only 4 real doors in. Let's open every single one.
Door 1. Entrepreneurs. People who build and own businesses. Jeff Bezos famously kept a modest salary for years running Amazon. He didn't get rich from that paycheck. He got rich because he owned a growing slice of a company that scaled far past anything a salary could ever match. Door 2. Investors. People who own pieces of other people's businesses, real estate, or funds without founding anything themselves. Warren Buffett is the textbook case. Decades of buying ownership stakes in solid companies and reinvesting the returns. The wild part? The bulk of his fortune didn't show up in his 20s or 30s. It snowballed after decades of repeating the same unglamorous habit.
Door 3. Highly skilled professionals. Athletes, entertainers, top creators who own something rarer, a skill or a personal brand valuable enough to function like an asset. LeBron James gets paid to play basketball, sure, but the real wealth engine has been turning that fame into ownership stakes in restaurants, media ventures, and other businesses. The skill opened the door. Ownership is what walked through it. Door 4, and we'll mention this one fast because it isn't a strategy you can apply on Monday morning, inheritors. People born into family wealth or trusts. It's real, it exists, but for the other 99% of us watching this, it's not the plan. It's just proof that ownership, however it arrives, is still the actual mechanism.
Notice what all 4 doors have in common. Not one of them says work harder at your job. Every single one is about owning something that works even when you don't.
Okay, but here's the obvious problem. If you're not a founder, not a pro athlete, and not born into money, where do you even start? That's where this stops being philosophy and starts being math.
6 steps. Repeated for years, not weeks. Earn an income. Save consistently. Invest what you save regularly. Build skills that raise your income ceiling. Use both the investing and the raised income to eventually own bigger assets or businesses. And repeat. For years, sometimes decades.
Notice step 6, not repeat for a month until you're rich. For years. This is the part most finance content quietly skips because be patient for a decade doesn't get clicks. But almost every non-inherited fortune is closer to a slow-cooked habit than a hack. Here's the one-line version of that entire formula, and it'll change how you look at your next paycheck. Pay yourself first. Before rent, before subscriptions, before the new phone, a slice of every dollar gets set aside to buy ownership, not whatever's left over. First. Because look, here's the part that should genuinely bother you. If you're only investing what's left over after spending, well, there's almost never anything left over, right? I mean, lifestyle just quietly expands to swallow up your income. It happens to all of us. But if you invest first and then live on the remainder, that ownership stack, it grows on autopilot, whether you actually feel disciplined that month or not. So yeah, pay yourself first is absolutely great advice, but pay yourself into what exactly? Because let's be real, not all assets are created equal.
Some of them genuinely build wealth, while others, well, they just kind of feel like they do.
So let's talk about appreciating assets. Basically, things that are going to be worth way more later than they are today, or things that literally pay you along the way. Broad stock index funds, they sit right near the top of the list, and for good reason. Instead of making a massive bet on just one company, you're owning a tiny slice of hundreds of the world's biggest businesses, all at once. And, stretched across decades, that slice has historically just kept growing. Now, real estate, that's door number 2. It's property that can go up in value and pay you every single month. And hey, if buying a whole property outright isn't realistic for you right now, you can look into REITs. They basically let you own a slice of real estate just like an index fund. Pretty cool, right? Then we've got gold, which is honestly treated a lot less like a growth engine and a lot more like, well, financial insurance. And finally, Bitcoin. Super high risk, high volatility, which is exactly why it should be a really small slice of your plate. Definitely not the whole meal.
Notice the theme here? Not a single one of these is a lottery ticket. Nope, they are boring, totally repeatable, decades-long plays. Because the top 1%, they didn't get rich off of one lucky bet. They got rich because they let math work in their favor over and over again for a really long time. And honestly, here's the part that should actually worry you. Cash just sitting untouched in a checking account, it's not safe. It is quietly losing its buying power every single year thanks to inflation. I mean, the exact same amount of money is going to buy you a lot less groceries 10 years from now than it does today. So assets aren't just this secret trick for how the wealthy get ahead. They are literally the only mathematical way for anyone to keep from quietly falling behind.
Okay, so assets protect and grow your money, right? But there is one asset we haven't even touched on yet, and it might just be the single highest return investment on this entire list. It's you. Seriously, high income skills, things like sales, coding, messing around with AI tools, marketing, content creation. These things often pay back way faster than almost any stock ever could. Think about it. A stock might return, a small percentage a year, but a skill, that can permanently raise your entire income ceiling. And it's that brand new higher income that actually funds every single other door we've already talked about. This is exactly how creators turn into owners. Someone builds an audience using a skill, filming, editing, storytelling, and then they convert that skill into something they can actually own, a product line, a media company, maybe a stake in another business. The content, that's just the marketing. The business itself is the actual wealth engine. And look, I get it. This is the step people romanticize the absolute least, because frankly, go learn a skill just doesn't sound quite as exciting as buy the dip. But make no mistake, skill building is quietly the mandatory entry fee to almost every other door on this list.
And all of that brings us to the single biggest wealth creation engine of the whole bunch: businesses. A job is always going to pay you for your hours. But a business? Well, a business, if it's done right, can pay you whether you personally show up that day or not. Because at that point, it's no longer just you doing all the working. It's a system, it's a team, or it's a brand doing the heavy lifting. Honestly, that is the entire difference between earning and owning, totally wrapped up in one single sentence. So, okay, invest, build skills, maybe eventually build a business. Sounds great in theory, right? But let's make this stupidly practical for a second. Think of your income as going into 5 really flexible buckets. First, you've got to invest a meaningful slice. We're talking 10 to 25%. Second, absolutely cap those living costs. Third, build up a solid 3 to 6 month emergency fund. You want that buffer so you never ever have to sell off your assets in a total panic. Fourth, absolutely kill off any high interest debt you have. And fifth, yes, enjoy some of your money right now. Treat yourself a little. The whole goal here is just making sure you're not letting lifestyle inflation completely swallow up your ownership stack.
And notice something else. The wealthy almost never rely on just one single stream of income. Nope, they stack several of them. They might have a salary, plus some dividends, plus maybe some rental income, plus a side hustle or business. Because if one of those streams suddenly slows down or dries up, the whole system doesn't just collapse on them. And let me tell you, that is definitely not luck. That is pure intentional design.
All right, let's bring this all the way home. Real wealth was literally never about the size of your paycheck. The top 1%, they just simply swapped the question. Instead of asking, how do I earn more, they started asking, what can I actually own? And like we saw, 4 doors get you there.
You can build a business, invest in assets, master a super rare skill, or, for a very small, lucky few, just inherit it. But no matter which of those doors you end up walking through, the underlying formula, it never changes. You earn, you save, you invest, you build your skills, you own something, and then you just repeat that unglamorous loop for years. You keep going until your ownership stack is finally out there doing way more work than you are.
But here's the big problem you are about to run into. The exact moment you actually start trying to invest that 10 to 25%, you're gonna hit a wall that almost nobody warns you about. Which asset do you pick first? Do you go for the index fund, the rental property, the side business? Because frankly, putting your money into the wrong thing at the wrong stage can quietly cost you years of progress. And that is exactly what we are breaking down in our next explainer. We're gonna look at the actual step-by-step order the wealthy use to invest, and why doing it totally backwards is the single most common way people just stay stuck at zero. So you should definitely go check that one out right after this. It is absolutely going to save you from the huge mistake almost everyone makes the exact week after they finish watching an explainer like this one.